Welcome. I want to thank the Cambridge community for its efforts to help slow the spread of COVID-19 in our city. I look forward to the day when we can gather again in person to have these discussions. While the governor's stay-at-home advisory was in effect this spring, the city's team and the design team at Perkins Eastman continued actively working to address the comments and concerns raised at our last community meeting and to use those comments to conclude the feasibility phase of this project. I hope after viewing this recorded presentation, you will see that we have worked to address the issues raised by you, our residents, during the process, including the amount of open space on campus, the amount of space projected for the building overall, the program associated with early childhood programs planned to be on the campus in the future, and the incorporation of underground parking. I want to thank each of you for your input. Your feedback has truly made this a better project. In this presentation, we will share how we have addressed those issues as we close out our feasibility study phase. For example, we heard that the community is concerned about the scale of the program. In response, we have made several significant changes. These include reducing the number of classrooms at this site dedicated to Human Services Early Childhood Program from 8 to 4, and reducing a special spot classrooms to 3. The city is committed to and is making progress on finding space for the other 4 classrooms in the location nearby in a same time frame as the new building. As someone who has spent many a night at Tobin Field, I am proud that we were able to make significant increases in the amount of open space on the site since our first presentation, to allow for soccer and baseball fields to be at the site. Additionally, we have made changes so there is more connected open space on the site, allowing parents to see many parts of open space while standing in one position. The approach we have taken illustrates our goals for the feasibility study, which are to establish and document community and stakeholders' needs and develop a concept for the site. The next phase of work will use this input to refine the design. This remainder of the presentation will summarize the feasibility report. We will shortly be sharing how the design team has continued to incorporate community feedback during schematic design in a virtual community meeting. You will have an opportunity to speak with the design team and me directly. Thank you for participating in this process so far. Together we are creating a new great place for our children to learn and for our community to enjoy.
Through this project, the city is striving to accomplish the vision established by CPS and the city for the best quality education possible for our children and families. Providing this quality education includes addressing enrollment growth across the district, particularly in this portion of the city. The program includes providing improved learning environments for Tobin Elementary and Vassal Upper School, a new preschool, maintaining and improving open space, addressing neighborhood stormwater issues and resiliency, and addressing Envision Cambridge goals. It also begins to address the need to provide affordable and quality early education for the youngest children in the district.
However, in pursuing these goals on this site, with the significant help from the community, we have heard the concerns about the scale of the program initially proposed. In response, as the city manager indicated, we have made several significant changes. These include reducing the number of classrooms dedicated to DHSP early childhood programming from 8 to 4, and reducing the special start classrooms from 5 to 3. These changes will reduce the capacity of the building by 110 children and 19 staff. That's a 10% reduction in students and a 7% reduction in staff from our initial projections. These changes in capacity will also reduce the overall size of the building. The Tobin Montessori program will grow modestly to 336 students to allow for enhanced feeder programs into the Vassal Upper School. The Vassal Upper School will expand its capacity to 450 students to also provide additional space, resolving the enrollment issues at the lower schools that feed into it. These changes will allow us to keep grade cohorts together as they move through their time learning at CPS. This building will also provide significant resources for community use, and the design team will describe those spaces in the building and on the site later in this presentation. Considering the age of the children in these programs, the reductions will significantly reduce projected car traffic throughout the neighborhoods and parking demands on the site as well.
As the city manager noted, the feasibility phase establishes the criteria that we will use to design the building over the course of the next year and a half. To give you a sense of where we are and how the process will continue, let's review the project design schedule. As you can see, we projected the feasibility phase to last for 10 months, but we ended up extending it to just over a year per the community's request to better understand and respond to your comments and concerns. To lay the groundwork for subsequent phases, during feasibility we held over 100 meetings with students, parents, teachers, staff, members of the community, and approving authorities. This process will continue in the next phase, schematic design, and subsequent phases of work as we develop the building. Each option builds upon the work of the prior phase, so as we transition to schematic design, we begin to synthesize all of the user needs and the preferred option. During schematic, we continue to explore and refine the principles, goals, and issues established in the feasibility phase. For example, in schematic design, we document and develop strategies to address traffic concerns and continue to perform our due diligence on the site, its geology, the presence of hazardous materials, and develop the building massing and image at the same time. After schematic design, we will begin to detail the design to establish the system's level of finish, quality, and cost for the contractor to implement the project successfully. This is the proposed design schedule. As you can see, schematic design progresses through September, and design development will follow through the end of May next year. We propose to have final construction documents issued for bid in April of 2022. Early packages concentrate on aspects of the building design that happen towards the beginning of construction, so the contractors can begin work before the design is complete. For example, building abatement and demolition, on the site soils, stormwater tank, and geothermal wells are not dependent on the exact shape of the building or the design of this green space.
Hello, my name is Omar Calderon. I'm a design principal with Perkins Eastman. I've met some of you at some of the various community meetings that we've had, and we want to thank you again for spending some time reviewing the materials that we have prepared to date. So the preferred option, as you may recall, the process began as a remarkably collaborative engagement. After studying dozens of options, we believe that we have created a concept for the site that is responsive to the many stakeholders' needs, ranging from the children and staff of the school to the families and other members of the community. As the city manager said, we believe that this concept successfully balances issues of program, open space, traffic and access, context, landscape and safety, and really lays the groundwork for a building that we can all be proud of. We shared this option at our last meeting in January, but let us take a few minutes to review. With your help, we came to understand the great importance of Father Callanan Playground as a major community asset. In many ways, what we have done is to create a school building that sits within a landscape setting, not only to the north, but really all around the site. We've accomplished this by doing several things. First, we located the building similarly to where the current building is sited. This allows Father Callanan Playground to be approximately as large as it is now, but accommodating different activities ranging from baseball, soccer, and basketball to playgrounds and seating areas. You can also see the bike lane also runs across the site from Concord to Vassal Lane, connecting Father Callanan Playground to the city's bike pathway system. The openness of the site north of the building will allow for good sight lines across each of the different outdoor spaces. We can imagine a family with several young children, one climbing on a play structure, another kicking a ball on the fields, all within view of the caregiver. On the other side of the site, the new front doors, one for Tobin and one for Vassal Lane, are located close to where they are now. This gives us the opportunity to create a safe and secure arrival to the schools. And within the removal of the existing drop-off, create a landscape on the south side that, like the north side, should feel more open and green. Our approach to the student drop-off will resolve the current challenges, including the lack of queuing space, the mix of buses and cars, and the problems in turning onto and off the site. In the new design, buses will access the west side of the site using a curb cut close to the existing one. After arriving onto the site, buses can easily queue entirely on site as they drop off and pick up students at the building's western courtyard. To conserve as much outdoor space as possible for landscape, recreation, and outdoor education space, the car drop-off and all of the site's parking will be located under the building. We're still studying exactly where the garage will be accessed, but the general idea is that the cars will arrive onto the site, enter the structure, and queue for drop-off and pickup inside of the parking structure. Students will access the building directly from that level and arrive into the school's lobbies. Looking at the building's massing, not only have we been able to reduce the building's footprint to retain as much useful outdoor space as possible, we've also been able to organize each of the school and Department of Human Service programs to reduce the perceived scale of the building. For example, as Sean will describe in a moment, the Tobin Montessori program is structured around 3 academic neighborhoods: the Children's House, the lower elementary, and the upper elementary. The 4th floor of the building houses Vassal Lane's 8th grade. One goal in stacking the academic neighborhoods is to be respectful of the lower scale residential character on the east side of the site along Alpine Street. Accordingly, we are exploring a number of ways to minimize the perceived mass of the building on the east. Here you see one option, which is to set the 4th floor back away from the front facade along Vassal and Alpine Streets. The west side of the site with the armory and the adjacent commercial properties has a different character. Here we can stack Vassal Lane's 3 grade level academic neighborhoods on top of the Department of Human Services programs on the 4th floor, and the 4th floor will be much less obtrusive. Respecting the surrounding context and uses by breaking the mass of the building down along Vassal Lane between 3 to 4 floors will be further enhanced by breaking down the plan of each side of the building into smaller, discrete volumes. The north wing, like the western portion of the southern wing, can take advantage of the long views across the field to create an appropriate civic presence for the community-oriented portion of the building. This civic scale complements the program like the school's more public assembly spaces, including gyms, dining, and auditorium, housed in the portion of the building. And now Dan's going to walk us through some of the sustainability features, components, and some of the site systems that are at work in the preferred option.
The feasibility study has enabled us to create the foundation for the design of a sustainable, healthy, high-performance place to learn inside and outside the building. Aspects of our approach that have driven the design include optimizing the orientation of the building relative to the sun's path across the sky. This will enable us to passively reduce the heat gain and the cooling load on the building, while also enabling us to optimize the quality of daylight inside the building, in classrooms. And research has shown that high-quality daylight in schools enhances learning.
As an important part of this approach, we've been working with our consulting team to create an energy budget for the building of 22 kilobTUs per square foot per year. This is an aggressive target for the programs, but one that we believe we can achieve. As we proceed into the next phase of work, we will be designing to conserve resources, reduce energy use and plug loads, and finally, to add photovoltaic arrays to generate power on site. It will be challenging, but we're hoping that this project will outperform both the MLK Junior and King Open schools. Creating a healthy place to learn also involves remediating the site. We will be working with the city's team as they continue to assess the soils, and we will be designing in accordance with their findings as they will affect the building, foundation, and site design. This project will also help to mitigate storm events in the surrounding neighborhood. The city is planning the construction of an underground 1.25 million gallon stormwater tank to be situated under the bus loop in the northwest corner of the site and connecting to the infrastructure on Concord Avenue and Vassal Lane. A traffic study will be performed as part of the schematic design phase.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Donnell with Perkins Eastman Architects. To summarize the current organization of the building, let's walk briefly through the plan diagrams. As Omar indicated, the front doors are off Vassal Lane, and each school has its own secure vestibule. Each of the front doors for each school will arrive directly to the main office for each program, reducing confusion and enhancing security. The center of the building is the heart of the school. Situated at the crossroads of the school and the site, connecting the north and south wings, this area features the library and learning commons. It facilitates active community use, too, by organizing and providing access to all of the major assembly spaces, like the gyms, dining, and the auditorium, all in the north wing. After hours, we can close down each of the school's classroom wings to the south and limit access to just the heart of the school and this north wing. Left of the entrance is DHSP's preschool and the community school program. To the right is the academic neighborhood for the Tobin's Children's House. All of the 3- and 4-year-olds are on this level of the building for easy access to the entries and to the outdoors. In the north wing is one of the gyms on this level, dining for both schools, and the multipurpose room and the gross motor rooms for the youngest children. The upper floors are similar. On the second floor will be Vassal Lane's main office, just above the Tobin's office below. Like the Tobin's, it's in the center of the building, above a 2-story entry lobby. To the left is Vassal Lane's 6th grade neighborhood, and to the right is the Tobin's lower elementary neighborhood. In the heart of the school, here we find the 2 library and learning commons starting on this level. These will be featured for each school, and in this location, they are both easy to access and they help demonstrate the school's commitment to create a great place of learning. In the north wing, we'll have the visual art studios, the lower school music, and offices for the district-wide OSS and district science departments. On the third floor, we have 2 more academic neighborhoods for each school, in this case, 7th grade for Vassal Lane and the upper elementary for Tobin. And in the north wing, we have the auditorium and the gym. And on the partial 4th floor, we have the 8th grade neighborhood for Vassal Lane and the upper school specials.
Hello all, my name is Brian Santos, president of W.T. Rich Company, the construction manager, and I'm also the project executive on the Tobin project. I hope all are doing well during these challenging times and staying safe. Much like all of our W.T. Rich projects within the city, we are looking forward to working with all of you again on this special project. I've been asked to discuss some of the details of the estimate. In collaboration with the design team and overall project team, W.T. Rich has thoroughly reviewed the drawings, the provided specs, all reports, and the meeting notes to thoroughly understand not only the scope of the building, but all of the various ancillary items such as neighborhood consideration and various external concerns. Factoring the cost of building materials, labor, and other factors, including hazardous materials, escalation, and project phasing, we're currently hovering around a project estimated cost of $240 million. I might add that this is in line with previous successful City of Cambridge projects that we have done in the past from a square foot perspective. while also taking into account the unique aspects of this project, including the 1.25 million gallon stormwater cistern, significant underground parking, and various complicated site remediation. I thank you for your time and look forward to the next steps with this great project and the overall project team. Thanks again, and be well, everyone.
I want to thank you for your participation in the development of this feasibility study. As you can see through this presentation, your voice and your feedback has made a significant difference. As you can see how your voice has made a difference, we are resulting at this point with a smaller building footprint, more open area, and an increase in green area. By reducing some of the program, there will be 30% fewer vehicles coming to the site per day. We are glad that we have been able to address comments and concerns over the course of the feasibility phase. As always, you can continue to share your comments through the City Manager's office. We'll be holding community meetings shortly to share what has been explored over the last couple of months and to offer an opportunity for more feedback. As we look ahead, we will look to post the feasibility study and all of its studies on our website. And we are beginning the next phase, which is schematic design. Schematic design involves several in-depth studies, which will include traffic studies. And then the building expression and more detailed building design will continue to be developed. We are very excited to be moving to the next phase of this design for this really exciting project. Thank you again for your time and your participation.